Welcome back to Monday English Podcast, where grammar stops being your religion and starts being just grammar. Nothing more, nothing less. If you've ever frozen mid-sentence because you weren't sure whether to say have eaten or ate, this episode is for you. If you've ever deleted a whole comment online just because you didn't know where the comma should go, congratulations, you've been possessed by the ghost of English class past. Let's be clear, grammar is useful, but grammar is not God. It doesn't decide your worth. It doesn't slap you across the face if you use the wrong tense. You've been trained to believe that speaking English means getting everything right. The right verb, the right word order, the right preposition. And that's why you're scared. Not of English. Of being wrong. Today, we're going to kill the myth. Gently. We're going to take grammar down from its shiny pedestal and remind you, it's just a tool. Like a fork. Or deodorant. Helpful, yes, but not the point of the conversation. Because I'd rather hear you say he go to school yesterday with confidence than mumble nothing because you're afraid of messing up. Perfection isn't the goal. Communication is. So take a deep breath. You're safe here. Say it wrong. Say it weird. Just say it. Let's talk about it. I once knew a guy who could explain the difference between past perfect and past simple like he was teaching at Harvard. You see, he'd say, we use had eaten to show the action was completed before another past event. Impressive, right? But then one day we went to a coffee shop. The barista asked, what can I get you? And he just shut down. Total system failure. Me, want a cappuccino, milk, no milk, hot, yes? I wanted to clap, not because he nailed it, but because it was the most beautifully broken English I'd heard all day, and at least he tried. See, this is the problem. We spend years mastering grammar rules, chasing perfect sentence structures, memorizing irregular verbs like our lives depend on it, and then when it's time to speak, we freeze. Why? Because deep down, we've linked speaking English with getting it all right. We've turned grammar into this giant invisible judge that's always watching. And if we make a mistake, bam, shame, embarrassment. I should have studied more. But here's the plot twist. Grammar is not the main character. You are. Grammar is just the lighting crew. The camera guy. It helps, but it's not the star. And it definitely shouldn't have the power to shut you up. Most of the confident English speakers I know, they don't speak perfectly. They just speak. Loudly, boldly, sometimes badly, but they speak. And that's why they get better. So no, you don't need another grammar book. You need to open your mouth. And yes, the wrong tense will come out sometimes. The sentence might sound like a blender full of verbs. So what? People will still understand you. And you'll survive. I promise. Because here's the secret. Fluency isn't the reward for perfect grammar. It's the side effect of using the language, over and over with all its glorious mistakes. Let's be fair. Grammar isn't the villain. It didn't ask to be worshipped. It's just a system, a way to keep things organized, like traffic lights or IKEA instructions. Helpful, yes? But if you stare at them too long, you'll miss the whole point. Which is to actually go somewhere. That's what grammar is supposed to do. Help you move, speak, express. But instead, you've been taught to sit and analyze every sentence like you're defusing a bomb. And I get it. The system made you this way. Schools taught you to fear the red pen more than silence. Tests rewarded the quiet ones who could fill in the blanks, not the loud ones who dared to speak and mess up. So now, every time you want to open your mouth, there's a tiny teacher in your head whispering, wrong tense, wrong structure, sit down. Let me tell you something. In the real world, no one cares if you say, he go to office, instead of he goes to the office. They're too busy checking their phone or figuring out what to eat for lunch. No one is grading your sentence. They just want to understand what you mean. And guess what? They usually do. Even when your grammar is falling apart like a dollar store umbrella in a storm. You don't need perfect grammar to make a friend, or ask for help, or order a sandwich. You just need to try. Because every time you wait to speak until the sentence is perfect, you lose a chance to connect. And that's a bigger mistake than any you could ever make with your verbs. So let's stop treating grammar like it's some ancient scroll written in gold. It's more like duct tape. Not pretty, but useful. And you can still build a whole conversation with a little duct tape and a lot of guts. Talk first, fix later. That's how babies learn. That's how travelers survive. That's how real people like you become fluent, not by worshiping grammar, but by using it. Loosely, boldly, and yes, sometimes hilariously wrong. Let's talk about the damage. The real cost of obsessing over grammar. It's not just that you hesitate, it's that you disappear. The moment you think, what if I say it wrong? Boom, silence. And that silence, it's not peaceful. It's a prison. You could have said something funny or helpful or human, but instead you swallowed it because a grammar rule held a gun to your mouth. And the worst part, you think you're doing the smart thing. You think better to be quiet than to be wrong. But that logic is broken. That's like saying, I won't go to the gym until I'm already fit, or I won't dance unless I can win Dancing with the Stars. Ridiculous, right? Yet here we are, refusing to speak English unless it comes out like a TED Talk. Spoiler alert, it won't. Not yet. And that's okay. People who improve in English are not the ones with perfect notes or color-coded grammar charts. They're the ones who say dumb things, laugh at themselves, and keep going. They're the ones who mess up 3 times and still show up for the 4th. You want real progress? You have to be louder than your inner grammar police. And let's be honest, you've seen this before. That person who speaks broken English but somehow makes friends, lands jobs, travels the world. Why? Because they use the language. Not fear it. Meanwhile, someone with perfect test scores stays quiet, waiting for the right moment that never comes. So here's the truth. Silence is not safety, it's stagnation. And grammar, when worshipped, becomes a cage. A golden one, sure, but still a cage. One that looks like preparation, but smells like procrastination. You've been sold a lie. That perfect grammar earns you the right to speak. No. Speaking earns you the right to improve. Every wrong sentence gets you closer to a right one. Every awkward attempt chips away at the fear. So stop waiting for permission. Stop editing yourself into silence. Say the messy sentence. Say the wrong tense. Say the thing, because silence never taught anyone a language. All right, deep breath. Now that we've torn grammar off its fancy little throne, what do we do next? Simple, we speak. Imperfectly, loudly, regularly. That's your challenge this week. I call it talk first, grammar later. Every day, I want you to say 3 things in English about your day, your mood, your life, whatever. Not textbook sentences, not the cat is under the table. I mean real stuff, like I so tired but I must survive. Beautiful chaos. That's the vibe. The rules? No grammar checking, no second guessing. Just talk. To yourself, to your plant, to your dog. Whisper it on the bus. Shout it into your pillow. I don't care. But speak. Make noise, real noise. English isn't something you study until it's safe. It's something you do until it feels natural. And yes, you will say weird things. You'll mix up words. You'll sound like a toddler on espresso. That's the point. That's how you build fluency. Not with perfection, but with exposure, repetition, courage. You can fix grammar later. What you can't fix is the damage of never opening your mouth. So do it. Say, I go shop today. Very rain. No umbrella. I wet like dog. Say it with pride. Say it like you mean it. Say it because a wrong sentence spoken out loud is 1,000 times more powerful than a perfect one that never leaves your brain. Still feeling nervous? Here's a trick. Record yourself. 1 minute a day. No script. Just talk. Then listen back and pretend it's someone else. I guarantee you, it sounds better than you think. Because confidence doesn't come from grammar. It comes from doing something scary and realizing you survived. Grammar is useful, yes, but courage is non-negotiable. And right now, your courage needs a workout more than your conjugations do. So here's your mantra for the week. Talk first. Grammar later. Repeat until fluent. You didn't start learning English to become a grammar machine. You started because you wanted to speak, to connect, to travel, work, joke, sing, flirt, order fries without panic. Somewhere along the way, grammar snuck in and stole the spotlight. But not anymore. Not here. This podcast isn't about chasing perfection. It's about building confidence, the kind that survives awkward pauses, wrong verbs, and strange looks. The kind that says, yeah, I said it wrong, but at least I said it. Because fluency isn't pretty in the beginning. It's messy. It's brave. It's full of mispronounced words and sentences that sound like puzzles. And that's okay. In fact, it's necessary. You can't skip the mess. You can't edit yourself fluent. So next time you freeze because you're not sure if it's have been or had been, I want you to ask yourself one question. Will the world end if I get it wrong? If the answer is no, then speak. Loud, proud, wrong, whatever. Just speak. And if this episode made you feel even 5% braver, share it. Send it to the friend who never speaks English unless it's in a Google Doc. The one who waits for the right time that never comes. Or maybe send it to yourself again. Because this isn't just grammar rehab. It's your reminder that you're allowed to be imperfect and still be damn good. See you in the next roast.